Today is 1/3/23, and I've been trying to write this down since 11/9/22. In fact, as of last night, I finally completed nearly 2 months of writing just to scrap it all this morning, because the ghosts aren't whispering anymore. They speak plainly now. As I crouch by this waterfall, gushing from a glacier deep in the woods of Juneau, Alaska, a red-tailed hawk feather in my braids, cloaked in a blood wolf fur, a rage fills my heart as the blues fills my body. You see, I've always thought of myself as being from Long Beach, California, a black boy from the east side who hangs with Crips that bang Indians, hustles with a few Pyrus more embedded in Amerindian shit than some realize. But at this point, at this waterfall, I've come to know too much to believe only that. When my grandfather died, and I found myself at his desert home in Arizona, I thought it was the family drama that I was to learn a lesson from here.
Yo, I wake up 2 days ago, thinking I'm about to go about my normal day. My mom's come to me and gives me some news. Next thing I know, I'm in Arizona, and shit ain't been the same since. So at this point, I just find myself trying my damn best to navigate this shit with my mom and my aunties and uncles, and really I'm a high-key only kid in this motherfucker here right now, relatively speaking. I guess if I can give any advice to anybody else as I'm going through this experience myself, is to just communication, yo. Because the worst part of this shit is people not communicating, people getting upset and not talking to each other and turning on each other.
But in hindsight, that wasn't it. It was seeing how entrenched he was in a surreal blend of American Indian and Catholic imagery and regalia. It was the picture of his grandmother on the shelf that ignited a memory nearly 2 decades old. That this same picture has always been in my mother's house most of my life. I asked her, "Didn't Granddad send you a picture of his grandma when I was a kid? Everybody said she was an Indian." My mom's just like, "Yeah, and I still have the letter he sent with it. He was trying to help me research our lineage." I'm like, "I need that when we get back." And once we arrived back in Los Angeles, she immediately entrusted me with the picture and letter. And now, I'll share it with you. Dear Lorena, here are the photocopies of your great-grandmother, Florence Harris, Florence Bush, maiden name. I believe that she was born in Gregg County in Texas. Her mom was named Haley Bush. Her father's name, I don't know. I will see what I can find out for us. Take care. Love, Dad. My mother and grandfather never got to go any further with this. And it is in this I began to hear the whispers, feel the air of breath on my neck. Seek, seek and ye shall find. Birth certificates, death certificates, census records, land deeds, visiting this elder, calling that elder. My ancestors, farmers, teachers, business owners, housewives. All of a sudden, I'm getting an entirely different history of my people than I was taught by society. Public school taught me my people were Africans in chains and shackles in the 1800s. No, my people were American Indians, farming, trading, raising their families on their ancestral land. Florence was the first child of John and Mahaley Bush. Mahaley was an Ayish Indian. The Ayish are a Caddoan band that inhabited what is now San Augustine, Texas, near the Adirondack and Ayish Bayous. Their village was relatively undisturbed until the Spaniards arrived, cutting a road through the area. In the 1700s, Nuestra Senora de los Delores de los Ayish mission was established near the Ayish village attempt to convert the tribe. Now, Mahaley wasn't born until 1866, in the town of St. Augustine, named after the Presidio de St. Augustine de Ahumada, had only existed for about 3 decades. Mahaley was able to gain ownership of 160 acres of Ayish land through her husband John, a European whose story I've yet to uncover. And she, being classified as Negro, was not forced to a reservation. Mahaley donated a portion of her land for a graveyard for family and Civil War vets that is now a Texas historical site, and for a church I didn't uncover until I arrived. No one in my immediate family knew anything about Mahaley, nor the land, nor the tribe. The whispers grew louder. Seek, seek and ye shall find. And in the fall of 2022, I did just that. A 25-hour drive from Los Angeles to Houston, where my mother was, to San Augustine, all to get to a graveyard. We searched feverishly for Mahaley's headstone, and when I found it, I dropped to my knees. The tears carved down my face like rivers through a canyon. I didn't even know why I was crying. I couldn't stop it. I looked to the right, a string of unmarked graves. That's Florence, Ida, Tennessee, Young, Henry, Annie, her children. A cold heat enveloped me. I could hear my mother's voice behind me. They called you here. They wanted you here and you came. You're here for a reason. Let it flow. Florence's face flashing in my mind, my body shaking. I've lived such a life by this point. I carry so much in my heart and my mind. Truths and lies, loves and heartbreaks, carnal binges and spiritual cleanses. All of this, and I didn't even know who I was. I didn't know who or where I'd come from. And not some distant, unknown land in Africa from which I could never return. No, I'm from right here, from an indigenous woman in America, a matriarch who birthed a matriarch that called to me through the winds. I love you, Florence. I love you, Mahaley. I love you all my ghosts.
I love you. I love you and I adore and I thank you and I appreciate you for our bloodline. Mwah, mwah, mwah.